So how many of you have a credit card? How many of you still use debit cards, which, is bad because if you were to lose your money, it's very, very difficult to make money back from the bank. Having said that, you've got Paytm, you've got wallets. Is a good old credit card going out of business? I'm going to be talking about that and a lot more with the founder of Slice, Rajan Bajaj, now joining us on this edition of the Startup Central. Hi, Rajan. Welcome to Startup Central. Happy New Year to you and your entire team at Slice. You're in the business of giving young kids, millennials, FYI, I'm a millennial too, credit cards. It can be tricky. They may not understand what it's all about, not pay back. Tell me about your business model.
Thank you, Nanda, for having me here. And Happy New Year to you and your crew as well. Yes, we do provide a credit card alternative to youngsters and millennials in India. These are primarily young Indians between the age group of 18 to 30. In fact, we started with an even younger audience of 18 to 24, where we are now the market leader. And just this year, we launched for 24 to 30-year-old segment. And aspiration is to be the market leader there also in the next couple of years. So my key insight was, let me just tell you about my quick background. I completed my engineering from IIT Kharagpur in 2014, joined Flipkart in the product team after that. Within 10 months, 11 months, I moved out of Flipkart and started up my own company. I had a startup before this that didn't work out, and then I moved on to Slice. My key insight at that point of time was that youngsters and millennials who are using credit card because they need it, they are not really understanding how it works that clearly. They get their monthly statement just once in a month, and they are not going every day or every couple of days and checking how much is the outstanding right now. And at the end of the month, they get confused. They're confused about the GST charges that get charged on the interest. They're confused about the interest calculation. They're confused about any other hidden fee that gets charged to them. And these are those customers who have no time at all because they're totally connected on the internet, social. You're competing with this customer even for a financial product with the Netflix and Instagram because they don't want to spend a lot of time with you. So our key insight there was if we can make this financial product much simpler than existing products for this segment, they will love it and they'll start using that instead of typical credit cards. And that's what we have been doing.
Okay, so I get your point. They're too busy or they're just not bothered enough to learn and enter Slice Pay and sensing a business opportunity. Loved how you threw in IIT, by the way. But jokes aside, Rajan, what are you doing? Are you trying to make a MasterCard or a Visa for millennials? Is that it?
By the way, it's Slice now. So this year, last year has got a lot of things for us. We got our NBFC license. We launched for newer segments. We released our physical card product. And we changed our name from Slice Pay to Slice as well. So not really. It's not like a Visa or MasterCard. In fact, we work with some of these players like Visa, MasterCard, RuPay. RuPay is our primary network right now. And we will work with other banks who are doing very good in other aspects of money and other fintechs as well to provide other options to our customer through our platform, through Slice. But it's more like a payments product for the customers, which they can use as an alternate to credit cards, which is confusing for them to understand. And sometimes they don't even have access to that.
Okay. So, Rajan, how old are you?
I'm 27 now.
Oh, you're 27. You're trying to come up with a product for the millennials, which is easier than credit cards. You've taken an NBFC license with what's happening in the outside the startup world. Heard of INFS, heard of the van housing. What made you get an NBFC license?
Actually, we didn't know this is going to happen when we took it.
Okay.
Again, jokes aside. So I think whatever is happening in short term is short term, right? There's a reason there are cycles, and this is something that will happen and keep happening, for the next 100 years or so. So I think we're maybe in the part of that cycle right now. It's pretty short term. We're expecting some easing to happen in this year because the repo rates have been going down continuously from RBI. I think the liquidity situation will improve in the market, and it's just something that we will come out of in the long run. I think NBFC as a business model makes a lot of sense for us. And because the payments card that we have is backed by a credit line from our NBFC. So when a customer uses the card, on an average, a customer is doing about 8 to 10 transactions now from Slice card in a month. They are actually using the credit line from our NBFC, and they can repay back for that next month or convert that into an EMI. So if we don't have that NBFC, the whole model fails.
So Rajan, do you have a plastic card, or is this credit card basically digital?
We have a plastic card. We work with some of the banks for running it.
So Rajan, how does it work? I don't have a Slice credit card. I've been using the traditional ones, and I know how those work. Is it a digital card? Is it a plastic card? Do you have one?
Yeah, I'll tell you. So first of all, it's not a credit card. We are building an alternate to a credit card. It's something which is much simpler than a credit card. It's a plastic card, so I can show you. I have it in my wallet here. I keep it like this, which is visible. So it's a physical RuPay card. You can swipe this card at 5 million plus merchants in the country, and you can just pay for your bills. You can pay for your food transaction. You can buy for consumption-related items like from e-commerce or offline shops, and pay back next month very conveniently. And the app is designed for this particular segment, which is a power customer, which is digitally savvy, and they don't want cluttered experiences. For this customer, I think the biggest opportunity that we have in financial services today to make the financial transactions very basic and remove the clutter. It should not become like a to-do item for them. The transaction itself should be so basic, so intuitive to understand that they should not have any financial anxiety of doing these transactions. That's what we're trying to do with the card.
Is it cheaper to use a Slice card than for me to get a credit card from my bank? What I'm asking is, if I miss a payment, or if I pay just the minimum amount but not the rest, a lot of people don't know there are hidden penalties, hidden charges. And in that sense, is Slice better?
Yeah, actually, this is another thing. Apart from time which this customer is short of, second thing is transparency. This customer needs very high amount of transparency because the amount of information they have access to is unparalleled. The last 7-10 years, we have had information overload. In fact, after Geo, it has gone to another level altogether. So now this customer, if you charge anything hidden, anything that is not transparent, they will come to know about that in 2 months, 3 months, 5 months. You cannot run out of that. You cannot get out of that. So if you don't build products which are very transparent and all the charges are visible to the customer, you are going to lose trust of the customer eventually. So we have made Slice Card on those principles. It's free to use actually. We don't have any annual charges. We don't have any hidden fees. We don't have any upfront cost for the card. You can get it, start using it. You pay back next month. We don't charge you anything extra also. The only way you will end up paying fee is if you convert this transaction into an EMI, which will be based on your consent. And that's when you can see the interest charges, etc. upfront. We also have other partnerships where we can offer low-cost EMI to our customers up to 12 months with various merchants. And we have some other emergency loan option for our customers.
Something, Rajan, how many active customers do you have?
We have more than 220,000 customers who are transacting with us now.
Like 20,000 active customers. What is your valuation? And right now, you may not choose to go for an IPO, but we do have SBI cards, right, going in for an IPO. So that's going to create the real benchmark, I guess, for even though you're not a credit card, but trying to be different kind of a credit card, that would become the barometer.
Yeah, actually, one thing interestingly, I'd like to tell you now on your show. We are not a cash burn-led growing company. While we are growing at a very fast pace month on month, last year our total fiscal year's revenue was 9 crore. I think this year, by end of this fiscal year, we'll have a monthly revenue of that much or close to that. So we're growing at 15%, 20% month on month, but at the same time, we are not cash burn-led growth company. We are using our own profits and investing them into our growth, and that's what is leading to our growth. So I think valuation and some of these other numbers will be determined by the market. We raised our last round sometime in 2018, and in future, if we go for an event like an IPO or we go for an investment round externally when we need the money, that's when the true valuation of the company will be decided. But like you rightly said, SBI card is a good benchmark to look at Slice. We are actually going after a similar kind of customer and for a similar kind of need. So our business model is very similar, but we are solving it for an even more important segment because this is the future of the country and we are the market leader in that segment.
One second, you said you are now, your monthly revenue is 9 crores. Is that what you said?
I was saying last year our fiscal revenue was 9 crore for the entire year, 2018 April to March of 2019. This year, by end of this fiscal year, by March 2020, our monthly revenue will be touching close to 9 crore.
Your monthly revenue, that's exactly what I said, which uh, if I were to extrapolate that, then for into 12 months, you're talking about a yearly top line of about 108 crore rupees, 9 into 12. So Rajan, you said you have about 2.2 lakh active customers, right? Now, while your model might be a little different from a credit card company, you still have to compete with the giants, right? Whether it's a Visa, whether it's a MasterCard, whether it's an American Express, whether it's an SBI cards, to take customers away from them or for them to say that use me and not them. How are you doing that?
There are two things there. One is that the market itself is expanding. If you look at this product, while it's the highest ROE product for the banks, one of the highest products, because SBI card IPO doc shows that they're doing now 36% ROE, which is spectacular compared to any other product that the bank has. But it's still the fastest growing product for the bank. SBI card again is growing at 30-40% year on year, and that's much higher than any of the regular other products that banks have. So the market itself is expanding very fast. I think in the next 5 years, the market will become 3 times of what it is, or 3.5 times of what it is. There's a very large market to play around with. Second is the young customers who are coming in now, they don't have a large focus from the banks. In the last, I think the last 6 months to 9 months, I'm seeing some of the banks, couple of banks, in fact, focusing on the millennial as a segment and building products from that. But when we started up in 2016 January, we were the only ones who were doing that. And we are now the market leader in that segment because of the kind of design that we have built for our customers, the transparency that we have brought into the product experience for them. And I think that will fuel our growth in the future as well.
So what is your vision for the next couple of years? What's your target? I'm sure you have an Excel sheet which you obsess over.
So we want to build tools for managing time and money for the customers. Payments is just the start. We want to redesign the whole financial experience for our customers. We have 220,000 customers. We have 450,000 customers in our waiting list right now, growing at about 15-20% month on month. We want to be at about 2 million customers in the next 2 years. That's what we're looking at. And across 20.
What is, one second, I want to understand, what is a waiting list? This is not a Rajdhani train with a limited number of seats and I'm on a waiting list, right? What is this waiting list?
So we are in a financial services business. We have certain limiting factors, unlike an e-commerce startup or a typical payment startup. We can't accept all the customers because of various reasons. Capital access is one, the risk is one, the geographical presence for us because we have connection setup also is another. Because of that, we have a very large waiting list. We are not able to meet the kind of demand that we have while we are growing at a very fast pace. We're still not able to meet that demand. And that those customers apply and go through the whole process, but they're still part of our waiting list. We reconsider some of these customers over a 6 months period.
That brings me to the next question. Is this waiting list, and you've touched upon it, you have to be responsible as well. You said that, for example, you've hinted at that you're more responsible than a lot of other startups that are not burning cash. But with what you're doing, you have to also be responsible in who you are giving a card to. So in the traditional, you have banks, for example, using Sybil. What do you work on? How do you make sure that only those that deserve credit, are credit worthy, are actually getting it?
This is one of the key product priorities for us. And we have been doing that consistently all along to educate our customers about becoming financially independent and also financially responsible. We are able to acquire customers who are one of the youngest customers coming to formal financial ecosystem. So it's our responsibility that we educate them about the meaning of Sybil, meaning of other credit bureaus like Experian, meaning of how they can maintain a good financial score for themselves and what it will mean for them in the future. For example, for our customers, after 8 years of getting into Slice, they'll be ahead of their peers in credit scores because they have a larger financial history with a formal credit ecosystem. And those are some of the steps that we take right throughout the journey of the customer from the beginning. we do it even before the customer starts using us, at the impact of losing some of the customers. But we think that that's very important for the long-term retention and prosperity of our customers. Secondly, from the fact that our loss rates are pretty low, you can see that some of that financial prudence and having a large waiting list, not going after growth only at the expense of quality, has allowed us. So our loss rates are around 2.5% right now, which is significantly lower than the market or lower than many of the banks as well.
Okay, and do you have your own version of a Sybil that you test them? What do you rely on? Because this is where what Nandan Nilekani, for example, is trying to do as an account aggregator will play such a crucial role, right? Where everybody's data will be like that can be shared with players like you as well. How do you get the data?
So many of our customers in the 18 to 24-year-old segment actually start with no bureau score. But someone has to be the first credit provider to this customer who wants to get into the formal financial ecosystem. And we are the first provider of credit to this customer. In the 24 to 30-year-old segment, we use bureau scores and the data from the bureau. That's quite helpful. But wherever we don't have data, we have an alternative mode of data assessment on these customers. We rely on their past transaction history, and we rely on the kind of network that they have. We rely heavily on the social network that they come from, and we also rely on the demographic information that they provide, like where are they working, where are they residing, etc.
You want to share any anecdotes with us? Has it ever happened where your customers have refused to pay or they've defaulted? What you've had to do? I'm sorry, but this is always evergreen, and it is topical with what's happening in the traditional economy.
Yeah, no, it's part of our business. So, very good question. There are customers who in turn will delay the payments, and they have to be educated about the impact it'll have on their bureau scores and how it's best in their best interest to pay back as soon as possible. There are customers who will do this genuinely because they are facing financial difficulties. So we have to be a responsible lender there and provide them alternative options to repay back. Recategorize their loan in some other format that we give them larger tenures. We call that curing in lending parlance. And for all of these customers, we also have 98%, 97% of our customers who are able to build very good credit history for themselves because they'll be ahead of their peers in the future when they go for a home loan or if they go for an auto loan because they have a larger history with formal financial ecosystem.
Okay, with that, Rajan, I'm going to thank you for taking the time out and for joining us here on Startup Central. Any New Year resolutions you want to share with us?
I don't believe in New Year resolutions.
Oh, you're perfect.
No, I'm not perfect, but I keep improving every week. So every week I have a resolution.
What's your weekly resolution for this one?
This one I have to take care of my health a bit.
Okay, that's always a good one.
But as a startup, you tend to lose out taking care of health, which I think should be your number one priority because that is not good. Then the only thing that you want in the world is to get better your health. And if your health is good, then you can focus on so many other things.
Health is wealth. That's the true wealth. And with that, Rajan, I'd like to thank you for being so candid and for joining us here on Startup Central.
Thank you.